All right, guys, good afternoon. Let's just make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Let me try that again. There we go. I should be sharing the right screen. Yeah, so I just wanted to provide a kind of a quick midday update on, my perspective on what I'm seeing here in the market today with S&P down, what, 1%, Q's down 2.5%, small caps down 1.6%. So again, finally got a little bit of volatility. I'm actually viewing the volatility as a little bit of a positive, just to shake things up a little bit, provided that it's a little bit of a dip. And I don't know the extent of it, but one of the things that one of the things that stands out to me is this value versus growth. Now, I've talked about this a little bit in the trading room. I talked about this a little bit in some videos, but I think really this is kind of at play here. And why I've kind of zoomed out here, which is a 5-year chart, is just to show you the relationship of how far, I've got value, large cap value in the numerator and large cap growth in the denominator. And you could see that, there's been this relationship of growth outperforming for a long time. So we saw this about a month or so ago where value started to really outperform growth. And I think you kind of have it going on today too, after a little bit of about a week ago where growth actually had a few days where it outperformed over value. But I think that this thing has a chance to get back to 6.5, to 0.65 to 0.7. Just because I think people are not positioned for it, right? It's causing a lot of pain for these growth stocks to go down. And I think sometimes the market is really out there to kind of inflict a little bit of pain on people. And you could tell by what's going on today, which areas of the market are going up and which really have momentum. So I'm going to go through my open positions just to kind of give you an update on what I'm doing. And we'll go through, as I'm going through some of those open positions, I'll go through and look at some of the names that I'm not in, because I can't be in every position because it would be impossible. But I just think that this has a chance, and there's no certainty that this goes up to 0.65 or 0.7, but I think you want to be open to the possibility that value stocks could continue to rally. And what stocks, and then we'll go through some stocks that, you know, we'll continue, I've brought up before, but we'll continue to go over. So I added Dow today. So might as well start with that one. That's one that we went over in the room yesterday. We went through in the Q&A session. We also posted a lot of charts. Remember, you can find all these charts for the most part, unless I forgot to copy them over. But if you go into the chart swing trade setups, you're going to find a lot of the stocks that I talk about, even though I guess I forgot to paste some charts over. And then also in Tyler's charts. Right, Tyler's got some great charts that he's been posting too. These are great for ideas. And what our goal is to do is to capture the stocks that are showing relative strength and that are acting really well. Right, and that's kind of what we have in this market. Is we've got some stocks and some groups that are acting really well, and there are some areas of the market that are acting really poorly. My objective and goal is to not be in any of those areas that are acting really poorly, and instead focus on the ones that are doing well. So Dow, is one of those groups. We talked about the chemical group. There's no chemical ETF, but you have a couple of material ETFs where there are components of. That's XLB IYM. But this looks pretty good, and we've talked about a number of the names in this group. So I think this is interesting. I'm watching DuPont today too. Nice reversal off of DuPont. But your first target, let me go back to Dow for a minute. First target will probably be up about 68 bucks. If you want to take a target halfway in between, that's fine. But 68 is probably what I'm looking at for first target in this one. Then if we look over, so I'm looking at DuPont too for reversal. Another name that we've seen a lot of option activity is in this Mosaic. I like the group. Obviously, this name had earnings. What I would like to see is this thing get back above 34. So I did buy the dip a little bit today. I do like this name for the long term because I think this trend going on in agriculture is not going to go away. right? And you could see this MOO ETF actually looks pretty decent in here too. I might actually put a position on an MOO. All right, next. And also a couple day trades that I just, I try to buy the dip in NVIDIA. It's one of the names that I like to buy in the dip along with like SE. It looks like it's coming back actually nicely here. I just didn't know if we were going to see a bounce and then a return to the lows. So this is actually where I was looking to probably take it off, but I did take it off in here. So I just think it's a bit trickier with names that are trending down like this for the time being. I also added, I took a shot at Google a little bit too early on Google, right? I thought it was interesting filling the earnings gap, but this is now looking at a different picture. So we'll see where this one closes. But for now, I'm not doing anything extra. I put on a weekly trade. Whenever I put on a weekly trade and click the mouse button, um, I'm on the hook for that trade, right? I'm not going to unwind it and take it off for a loss. I'll just keep it on for the whole week. Who knows? Maybe Google recovers. But again, whenever I'm trading very, very short term, it's a tiny, tiny position, as we went over last week in the trading room. Just to go through the rest of my positions, this DRI. Let's take a look at this one. This one's down 1.1% on the day. It's close to my stop. I said 152. If it manages to hang in there, I'm fine. Again, I'm in a stock position. I don't have to worry about theta decay, but clearly it did not take that leg higher. So that's a position I'm going to have to continue to monitor. FCX, another material name, just kind of digesting in here. It's outperforming the market. That's not bad. It's down 17 basis points while the overall market is down 1%. This I took another target in STLD. These steel names probably right now the strongest area of the market. I mentioned in the room that I like this Cliffs. Why do I like this Cliffs? Because it just looks like the move may be starting. Nucor, you can kind of see this Nucor is absolutely on fire. Shame on me for not putting this one on. US Steel got an upgrade today too, along with Cliffs. So they both have momentum along with the overall group. So that's, I'm at this point, I just hit my fourth target in this one. So I just have the last piece on. Nordstrom was a position that I got into yesterday and took a target in. It's not doing much today. Inside day, it is down 3%. I don't know if I want to add to that, but for now, it's just an inside day after a big day yesterday. Lennar is actually up now on the day, so I'm actually making money on this. I did add to that position. I put that in green. The positions that I added to, so Mosaic I added to, Lennar I added to in the beginning of the day. STLD, we covered that one. TJX, which I've got my first target in that one yesterday. I'm going to monitor that one. I don't need to add to everything that's down. So that will be one that I keep on monitor. Schwab, this is one that I was thinking about adding to yesterday, but it's one of my favorite financials right now. And you could see it's, well, look at this thing. It's up 80 basis points. And I like the chart pattern here a lot. So I didn't add to it yesterday because I didn't want to add a lot of risk. I didn't want to add to every position that I wanted to yesterday because of this, right? This market being down today. Excuse me. And the last one was FedEx, which I started. I was going to add to this one too this morning. I just didn't want to go crazy with adding. This morning, I added to a couple of positions, but I think that this FedEx looks pretty damn good too. All right, guys. So that's it. But again, there are really strong, pockets of strength. Look at this PPG go. If one that I'm looking at as well for a new position is Honeywell. Right. If you look at Honeywell, remember it had earnings about a week ago, right? And it's kind of holding in here. So if I were to take this position, you know where I would set my stop? Right at the bottom of value, 221, right? But I like what this thing is doing here. And this is a little bit different setup than a breakout trade. This, I think, is a little bit of a dip trade where they're trying to carve out a bottom. This gap was just about filled. And like I said, you got a level to trade against, which is this 221, and then you can maybe shoot for a target up at 231. I looked on the 1 hour chart. I didn't see any VPOCs But you could also trade against the top of value there and maybe shoot for a target at 226, 229, and then 230. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. So even though you could see on the bottom left, breadth is still negative on the day, it's definitely not as bad as it was. And I'm finding some really good, areas of this market for now unless things change. And I think the rest of the areas you want to be super selective in. And if you're going to trade them, you know, in my opinion, trade them lighter or yeah, I mean, you give something a shot, in my opinion, like Hubs is something that I'm looking at, but that name reports tomorrow after the close. But like this would be a dip that I would be interested in, again, being very select, but this would be something that I would be interested in. I'm also looking at SE in the growth space, but I would rather let this volatility in this area play out a little bit. I'm not rushed to buy any of these names on the dip, but I am starting to look at a couple of them. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. Let me know if there's any questions, and I'll see you back in the room.